Good afternoon, Loons fans, and welcome to the Loons Matchday Preview. You'll notice that Jonathan Harris is out, so I'm going to kind of be playing his role as host. And we've got a great guest today, the Cameron Knowles, our assistant coach with Minnesota United, and somebody I know really well and I've gotten to work with really well. So welcome to the show, Cam.
Thanks for having me, mate. Happy to be here.
Nice, like it. Real quick with that accent, obviously you hail from New Zealand. Big win for New Zealand in Olympics today, correct?
Yeah, massive box all leading us to victory. Top of the group. Ready to go. Off to a good start.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Who else is in the group?
Yours, US, France, Guinea. That's who they played today.
So there's a decent chance, they get, another point or two. They're good to go, right?
And only win the game that's in front of you, mate, and that's what they took care of today, and that's the most important thing.
Did you get some chance to watch Box a little bit? I watched him a little bit today. So he's playing.
I saw probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of it before we went out to training, but then unfortunately didn't get to catch the whole thing.
Yeah, I think he was playing left center back, so a little bit different than he's used to, but what a cool experience for him. That's awesome. So
yeah, fantastic. I know how much it probably means to him as well.
Yeah, I agree. So let's just, kind of my sentiment right now is obviously, there's a whirlwind of the season going on, and we're really after this Leagues Cup. We're at the back end of the season. But now that we've kind of gotten to this point and we've got this break, let's just maybe do a recap before we go into San Jose and then go into Seattle, kind of a pre-match review. Just the season as a whole right now, where you think we are, as you take a deep breath, where you think the team's performance has been, and where it needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of been a, tale of two halves, really, when you look at, if you broke that first portion of the season up, first 2/3 of it up, off to a fantastic start, through the first 10 or so games. And then once, we lost a few players to international duty, struggling to really find our feet and dealing with just, I don't know, like a lot of different unique situations. The early red card with Hassani, the early injury with Devin at Seattle, Will Trapp removed from the warm-up in Portland, I think it was. And so we kept just feeling like we were dealing with one situation after another. And right when we thought, we would get it together in the game before San Jose, we give away that game right at the end. And I think that was just an absolute heartbreaker for everyone. And so in that last game against San Jose, to get that result, to get the win, to come out with 3 points, and then to be able to step back and really exhale and view it, the bigger picture. I think overall, when we look at it, it's all right. Do we think we should have more points? And are there games that we should have done better with? Absolutely. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. But ultimately, the position we're in gives us a chance still to climb the table with the 9 games that are remaining once we start back up in league play.
You've been around a while, and we can go into that a little bit more. But obviously, this was a 9-game winless streak. Like you said, some different kind of losses, and it wasn't just poor play. It was just like sometimes bad luck. Although I've always said you create your bad luck. But how did you feel like the team, the group handled it? What's the kind of message to the players? Walk us through just how you felt that time period went and where you think it's going from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the group in general, dealt with it really well. I mean, the situations that we constantly got tested with for players and staff were not easy, but I think in those moments you find a lot about the group. And when you then look at each game and the moments in the games that we did well, and each one of those games we came away with, when we're doing the review the following couple of days after the game, you're like, man, there's still a lot of positives within that. There's still a lot of good play. There's a lot of chances created. Very few times where we walked off the field feeling like, my God, we had no business being in that game. And so I think that was sort of what carried us through is, Eric, the rest of the staff, keeping a really even keel. The players, when called upon, continued to give their best effort that they had. And, we tried a few different things. We tried different guys in the lineup, and we were fortunate that we got to test our depth. And I think that'll stand us in good stead once we get back to full fitness, once we get back to being able to choose from the full squad when the season resumes.
Yeah, no, you could feel the stress and tension of the last two home games. I kind of always talk about how you want games to be 3-0, easy wins, everything's Wonderwall. But there's a real reality between the lines that sometimes it's you're playing well, but you're not getting the points. Sometimes it's you're playing poorly, and sometimes the stress of everybody, even the fans, the last two in the game, the stadium, you could feel it. That's tough. It's tough to play through and play well when you kind of have that stress. So. It was great to see the 3 points, and I thought really after we scored the own goal, kind of brought guys back to life. And by the second half, I thought it was our best soccer in a couple games, so it was nice to see. So, Cam, just in general for you now, again, just kind of reintroducing you. Obviously, you've been around soccer a long time. As a professional player for a long time, you worked at Portland for a long time. You now have a length here at Minnesota. I think your family is settled here. You've been a head coach for the second team. You've been a head coach for the first team. Just walk through, your shifting of roles and where you are now, and just how you process all that, and how overall the last year has gone for you in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this last 6 to 8 month stretch has been a lot of change. When we look at going back to whatever it was, September up to October of last year, then heading into a new season, new sporting staff, the interim role, new coach coming in. There's been a lot of changes, and I think when I look at that, really the last 2 years with MNUFC 2, my 3 prior seasons to that with Timbers 2, and working with the reserve team, where you're constantly dealing with change, you're constantly dealing with things in flux. I think those opportunities really set me up in a mindset of just getting on with things. And so when we came into preseason this year, and 10 days before the first training session, finding out that I'll be leading the team on day one of preseason. It was just, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I think that's where, when I look back, whether it's as a player or my experiences in coaching, all those little moments, they add up. And, I was fortunate that I was able to be in one place so long in Portland, and, fortunate again that I've been able to have some time here now in Minnesota. My family gets settled. I've had, several different roles here within the club, but that also exposes you to a lot of people. A lot of relationships get formed, and within that, trust and people that can help you and help you navigate turbulent times. So just grateful for the time that I've been able to spend at the club, and the trust that's been placed in me here.
Specifically, the experience now of this new staff and Eric, Dennis, and Thomas. How is that going? Is there anything that you're kind of focused on in the role that you've taken? Anything like any details you can give us, and with your perspective of working with Eric and Dennis, but also perspective and telling the fans about your current role?
Yeah, look, I mean, the staff that are coming are fantastic, and it's difficult too, because Eric comes in and then he's here a couple of weeks, and then Dennis comes in, and then we go another 3 or 4 weeks. Tom comes in, so we haven't had that ability. It's not like starting a season with the new staff. You have the preseason, everyone gets to know each other, everyone starts speaking the same language, because I think, that in itself is a really important thing, that you're talking about the game in the same way, that you're using, the same vocabulary to the players, so that there's not, there's as little confusion as possible with things. And so it's been trying to do all that stuff at basically warp speed. I mean, we had a slight break in the league when Eric first came here, and that gave us some time on the training field with the players. But really my role now, a large part of my role is, helping them understand the different environments that we're going into, the intricacies of MLS, how different you can go from altitude, hot weather, the cooler weather in the Northwest, the teams, their tendencies, the history of, some of the coaches and players in this league, and, helping to give them a broader understanding that can hopefully help us win some games.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like I said, I think, just observing from afar the last few weeks where you have that stress and adversity, and it's hard to say this, but sometimes you need it to see how your staff can react and grow together. When it's easy, you maybe don't have these moments where you have to ask each other tough questions and kind of think about, are you doing the best you can? What are the other things you need? What does the club need to do? So again, I still think we're not out of the adversity. We just have a little break of a new adversity with this Leagues Cup. So um, before we go on to the Leagues Cup, let's chat a little bit about the San Jose game, because that was a really fascinating game. I thought you kind of touched on it. Probably Wednesday night, having to kind of mentally, emotionally, physically, as a staff and the players and everybody wake up the next day, and then 48 hours get ready to say we have to walk off that field with 3 points. It seemed like it was one of those games where it was a trap game, because DC and San Jose were kind of lower in the league and they're expected to win both. You knew that you weren't getting both games, so you probably didn't accomplish all your goals for the week, but you still had to make sure that you got the result in San Jose. So it looked like Eric kind of did a 3-4-3. I'm not sure if you guys call it that. Maybe it was a 5-2-3. Maybe some people call it differently. But it seemed not to work after 30 minutes. What was the thought process of the coaches, of you guys, starting out the game? Expectations didn't go, they went, and then you guys had to, within the first half, which is very rare, to make a substitution.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that caught a lot of people by surprise. I mean, for us on the bench, it was, we have to win the game. And I think obviously the DC result put a lot more pressure on the San Jose game, but Alejandro picking up that yellow card early, we just thought there was absolutely no way we can risk having a player sent off and going down to 10 men. And it was really the impetus for that decision to make a change was, largely the booking that he received, but also, we just couldn't get a grip of the game. We couldn't get enough possession. We couldn't control enough with the ball against a team that's not usually very, good against the ball. So, often teams that San Jose have been playing have enjoyed a lion's share of possession. And I think, that changed then Rob's position, and it gave us a little bit, I think the last 15 minutes of that first half, we started to get into the game. We got into more of a rhythm and able to get a little bit more control. And within that, then build confidence, that we were actually going to get 3 points out of the game.
No, I agree. I thought then, one of the better tempo attacking moments of the first half led to the own goal. Obviously, a good play in the middle of the field, moving the ball a bit quicker, and the ball got wide to Sangbin, and he had a really good kind of, I think, put the ball in a good spot for the own goal. And it seemed after that to wake up the team in that first half. So it really seemed to kind of flip. I think they might have had one more chance at the end of the first half, but after that, it seemed like the rest of the game seemed to open up by the second half. It seemed like guys were excited to move the ball, tack sometimes, hold it sometimes. It seemed like we were playing soccer that we've been playing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think that's largely been the message, over the last stretch of games, is just trying to remind the guys of the team that we were, the team that was enjoying the ball a bit more, the team that was switching the play from one side to the other and speeding up the game down the sides, getting, good numbers in the box, getting good service, being dangerous in transition, and then being resolute in the way that we defend, and having some desperation about, key moments in the box when we're defending and getting the ball clear and just attending to the details of the game. It did start to feel like we were going to need a bit of luck. We were going to need a bit of the bounce of the ball to go our way to get us over that hump. And in that game, you got it. We have the own goal, and yeah, it comes from some really good play. But it's a little bit of a stroke of luck that then gives the guys a bit more buy-in and belief, and then they start playing with a bit more confidence. And hopefully that carries us through this Leagues Cup run, and then the remainder of the season.
Yeah, speaking of that back line and just confidence, this is Harvey's third game, maybe, and he started in the right center back in the back three. Give me assessment of his performance, how he's doing. That's a new position for him, similar to what we did with Kervin Arriaga early in the year. He seemed, in my view, to get stronger as the game went on. I mean, I thought like the back three in general, after we scored, really had a really good game. Maybe they were a little slower start, maybe just because we didn't get the possession we wanted. But certainly after we scored the own goal, they all seemed to get really comfortable, particularly Carlos.
Yeah, he's grown into it. I mean, he left for Copa America as a central midfielder for us. He played some games with his national team as a, center back on the left and right side. And obviously then without need and, that game in particular too, Boxall's out. We wanted to see if he can grow into that role, losing Arriaga, who was playing as that right-sided center back for us, gave us a good range of passing from that, the ability to hit that big switch. It was to try and see how much of a void Carlos can fill by stepping in there. And I think when you look at that right side, not a natural position for Carlos. And then, Sang Bin as well, playing as a wing back, which he's only done a couple of times. I think it's tremendous how well they played, considering what was being asked of them and largely new roles in a back five that really hasn't played many games together.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it did, like I said, they seem to get stronger as the game went on. And it feels like Carlos is one of those players that looks like he can play multiple positions, are versatile, which I think the roster probably needs right now when it's a little bit thin. Second half, I thought the tempo changed for us. I thought we were really good about sometimes driving forward and then saying, you know what, let's keep the ball a little bit. But we didn't get a second one right away. And I'm sure you guys had to kind of weigh between going for a second goal versus like shutting this down and making sure that we walk up the field 3 points. But I think the soccer gods that wanted us to win that day created a great set piece. I think we were creating set piece chances quite a bit that game.
Yeah.
And then just walk us through Bongi's goal and just, where your guys were headed at pre-goal and post-goal and how you're going to see out the game.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to continue playing and keep searching, or at least we want to keep playing and searching for that next goal. For us too, we knew and have shown that set pieces were going to be important on both sides of the ball, and we've been one of the better teams in our attacking set plays. They have, in Joe, good delivery. Sang Bin, when he's taken them as well, has had good service, and we've got some really good targets in the box. And so, it's something we spend time on the training field. We spend time on with video with the guys to make sure that we can try and capitalize on those moments and just increase our chance of scoring. And, it's the second phase ball. It's a really good, for guys to stay onside, to stay engaged in the play, to get half the out of space in the box. And then, obviously great delivery. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it comes down to good service, and it's a great ball into the box and a great header.
Yeah, I agree. I like that you brought up the second phase ball, partly because I think we probably didn't have a ton of big guys. When Boxy's not in the game, obviously Trapp and Taylor were injured, but they're not big guys. But to almost change the angle of the service as well now, to really put them a little bit on ease where they guard space, where they guard the guy. And you're right, Joseph put a great ball, and Bongi was just hungry to get his head on that. That was a really nice one for him. We had a debut by Samuel Oshoa that seemed to come right after the goal, which actually added even some more possession in the game. A little assessment on his debut as a Minnesota United player.
Yeah, I thought he did well. I mean, he showed what he's shown in training, good technical ability, good understanding of the game, very good in possession. It's been a long time since he's played, so we've got to continue to build his match fitness. But it was good. It was good to have a calm presence on the ball, to be able to bring other guys into the game. And I thought he had a really bright showing for his first game with us.
Yeah, it was nice to see those minutes. And it seemed like he wanted to go find the ball, grabbed a couple of touches really early that gave him some confidence. And it's never easy. I think even I remember as a player, even when I coached, just getting those first couple of touches to get you going. And again, I thought a lot of guys wanted to find him to get him to feel settled. And then he had some nice moments getting the ball forward in the box. And unlike some of our other games, I felt like we finished that game out with a 2-0 lead, possessing the ball a lot, which is my last point. Dane St. Clair, clean sheet, which was great. I think not only the win, but walking out the field with a clean sheet, I thought was incredibly important.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've shut a team out. And so for him to come back into the team, for him to lead the team and then, finish the game with a shutout is big for the group moving forward. We're going to need those performances. We've been scoring a lot of goals in a large amount of games, but not been able to really shut it down on the defending side. And so that, hopefully gives us a platform to build on for this last part of the season.
Like it. Huge 3 points. We breathe. We've got the Leagues Cup. Give me your thoughts on the Leagues Cup. in general. It does pose challenges that you have this, kind of tournament, Mexico, USA in the middle of the season, our best clubs against their best clubs. Um, it's obviously got a lot of stake. There's some, CONCACAF Champions League spot. There's obviously some bonuses for the players if they do well. Just in general, give me your thoughts on the tournament and how you think it is. And obviously we have a group with Seattle and Necaxa, two really good teams.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to have that mindset shift going from, league play into tournament play in, not quite the middle of the season, but at this juncture. But I think it's good. I think the incentives that the league has put in place in terms of the 3 Champions League spots, the financial incentives for the players in terms of bonuses as you progress through the tournament, has added some real credibility to it. And I know there's a lot of excitement within the group to show. And I think you've got that historic US versus Mexico and where the game is in the US, where MLS is versus their league, and you get to see it firsthand. We get probably a little bit of an advantage in the fact, the limited travel and the MLS teams play all at home versus the Mexican teams. But I think in terms of, bringing the 2 leagues together and creating a competition, I think it's exciting for the players and staff to see something different, and exciting for the supporters.
Yeah, I agree with you. As an American growing up, the USA Mexico rivalry is I think one of the top 5 best rivalry games in all of soccer. It just maybe doesn't feel like it all the time because it's in this hemisphere. But to me, creating this tournament and creating a USA versus Mexico vibe with the best club teams, particularly with the growth of MLS, and really now a belief that our rosters can somewhat compete with their rosters. Certainly the middle part of the Mexican League roster. The top end is really still impressive, but I still think the parity of our league is growing and growing, and it means that the Mexican clubs don't have an easy game against any MLS team at any moment. I think is a great benefit to MLS. Certainly when you get to the top end of the Liga MX, the Monterreys of the world, Tigres, America, it's a huge challenge, but hopefully we can make a run and get that challenge. I just get so excited. I think it's the World Cup style. We've got to probably win one of our 2 games to get out of our group. And that starts this Friday night with Seattle, a place that our club unfortunately has not done well. And you don't like to think that way. I know as a coach, you probably just look forward and the next game is different than the games in the past. But there's no doubt every time we go to Seattle, there's a possibility of us, trying to get a result in a way that we haven't in the past. So thoughts on the game this weekend, thoughts on the approach that you guys are putting into place and the group and the lineup that you think can help us compete in a way that we've never have there.
Yeah, I mean it's always a tough place to play, and so that's what we start with in mind. And how important some of the cup competitions have been to Seattle in the past too. Their success in the cups as well as previously in the league. So it's a tall order, but we have to go for it. We, like you say, you win one of maybe 2, and then you get out of the group and you get to the next stage. And we'll be missing, right now through training. We don't have Rob because he's at the All-Star game. We've got Boxy who's at the Olympics. We've got Will and DJ still coming back from injury, so that game might come around a little too quick for them. So largely we'll be leaning on, most of the group that we've had the last couple of weeks, minus those absences and Robin and Boxy, but it'll also give us an opportunity to see some of the depth. We've got guys, Sam comes into the last game. Some of the younger guys that'll be on the bench, if they get called upon, it'll be a fantastic opportunity for them to play in a difficult environment for something that's different than the league. That is, the results come quick, the games come quick, and hopefully you find yourself getting through to the next phase.
It's an odd one, and I'm going to ask you, I don't know if it's a tough question, but unique question. Why do you think it's a tough place to play? I mean, this is, again, maybe I'm going into my surprise that we haven't done better there. Partly because I know it's turf, which is unique, and I know the crowd is not completely overbearing, but they're loud. They're weirdly Western Coast loud, but not like maybe not the toughest environment like an LAFC type crowd. So what do you think makes it such a tough place for us to go and get a result?
Yeah, well, I think in general, when you look at MLS, home teams have the advantage more so than most of the leagues. for whatever reason that is, that's just the way the results bear out. Seattle, usually a large crowd, usually a good environment. Like you say, I think there are some tougher places to play for sure in the league, but to really put your finger on why we've not been able to go there and get a result. I don't know if you had the answer to that. You would have solved that problem a long time ago. And it's a shame because sometimes you think you're going to get close. We go into the last time we we're in Seattle, we think, okay, we've got a good plan, we've got a good team on the field, we're going to give them a good run for their money. We lose a player in the first minute, and so it's trying to figure out the right team and the right plan against them, and they've got a team that's sort of rounding into form. Over these last 8 or 9 games, Jordan Morris is doing a fantastic job as a lone striker, scoring goals now, when he's typically been playing wide. So we're catching them when they've really got some momentum. So we're going to have to be at our best.
No, I agree. They got Argentinian De La Vega. Is that right? His name? Yeah, speedy guy wide who's now just coming off an injury. I think he had 30 minutes last week against LAFC, or maybe 45. So we probably expect to see him get some big minutes. Obviously, the Roldan brothers are outstanding, MLS players and really provide a lot of leadership on that field for them. João Paulo has somehow decided he only scores goals against Minnesota United, and great goals at that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of adversity there, but I also would say, why not? Why not, take this time, this League's Cup, to go on the road in our first game and try to get a result. Couple important things. There are no ties, so it goes straight to shootout. So the management of the game probably for 90 minutes is a little bit different than a tournament style where you have extra time, and it's also probably different than the league play where there is a result at the end of it. So that might affect your guys' sub patterns and things like that. So my only ask is that, or maybe not, I don't know, but it's kind of a funny one. I want to end the stat that I can give you that I'm the last coach for Minnesota to win in Seattle. So hopefully we can change that and get a win. Any other thoughts on Seattle, the trip, and the guys, how they're feeling? Obviously they must be feeling pretty good after the Saturday and a little bit more of a full week training. Obviously, the game's Friday and not Saturday, but just thoughts on the game and how training's going this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It feels like a full week, with the congested schedule that we've had in the last few weeks. To have 2 or 3 days in a row, we've been able to train and be able to recover guys and get some days off and some rest for guys that desperately need it. It's been great. It's felt like a normal week, and I think the shift in mentality of a cup competition, a tournament competition versus the league brings a sort of new energy to it and a new excitement. So the group's really hungry. Training has been good the last couple of days. We're looking forward to it. And the guys are going in with the belief that we can get something out of that game.
Yeah, it really would be a great result. And then that would set up a different type of mentality on Tuesday, Necaxa at home. The tradition of us playing Mexican clubs, whether it's exhibitions or now the tradition of the Leagues Cup last year, has been awesome for probably the last 10 years. I'd say played some great Mexican clubs here in Minnesota. No doubt Necaxa is a great club, and that should be a fun one on Tuesday as well. Quick turnaround. I'm excited for Allianz Field and our guys. Sometimes, we always play the MLS games, but playing international competition on the amazing stadium is going to be awesome. And be a quick turnaround, right? Guys got to fly back Friday night and then get ready for Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll come back straight after the game, probably get back here, Saturday in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, get some rest, back on training field Sunday, Monday, and then into Tuesday. But, the weeks that we've had, we've been used to those, travel, come back, play, quick turnarounds. And I think just knowing that we front load some of the rest and the management of the physical load for the players this week, knowing that, we have those quick 2 games coming up. I mean, they're really looking forward. You can't look past the first one, but I know everyone's looking forward to, a good environment on Tuesday and at Allianz, and to play a different type of opposition. And, you get used to these MLS teams where everyone's really familiar with how teams play and how individuals play. And then, this will be a bit more of a wild card for some of the guys. And so it's exciting to see how they respond to that situation, and should be a great environment against what you say is a good team.
Have you guys, the staff, have you guys worked on Necaxa and Seattle? Have you guys kind of front loaded that work? Or are you guys just going all in Seattle? Then you got to focus on Necaxa the next couple of days, or
Yeah,
and
I
if
mean,
so, what's your thoughts on Necaxa?
it's the bulk of the work that we're doing right now is just Seattle.
Yeah.
We can't look past that one game. We have to focus on that and give it every attention. I think that's how we try and work every game, even within the league, when we have that turnaround. Doesn't make for a much denser preparation when you only have 2 days. Certainly it does, and you have to then make the decision about how much of that are you doing with just video, how much are you able to do on the field, knowing that players are, in sort of a half recovery, half preparation, in terms of their physical stuff on the field, how much can you load into them tactically there versus just doing it on video. But the same amount of detail we try to put into every game, whether we've got 5-6 days lead in or 2 or 3, and we try not to blur those lines by getting too far ahead of ourselves.
No, again, I'm excited for Friday, just because, like I said, off of a good win in a place that we haven't had trouble, I haven't had a lot of success, but the adversity of the team right now has been through a lot. So I think this Leagues Cup will create a new type of adversity. But if we get out of the group, it's a great chance to make a run. So I'm really looking forward to Friday, then Tuesday at Allianz Field against a different type of competition. It'll be a different type of atmosphere. Obviously, there'll probably be some Necaxa fans, and it won't be just all Minnesota United fans, which I think is always a unique situation as well. So good luck to you Friday.
Thank you.
And then certainly, let's get back at it on Tuesday at Allianz Field. So last thing, just looking ahead, we obviously are in the thick of a transfer window. Certainly, we're hoping, and there's going to be some areas of the roster we're trying to grow and get better at. Anything in particular that you comment on the roster where you're trying to think about the club and the staff about where you think we can add more pieces to get better?
Yeah, I mean, look, the recruitment team's working really hard. There've been, a number of targets that we've been looking at, going back months now. And as you know, in this, it's hard. It's hard once you get to the last little bit of trying to get a deal across the line. And so hopefully here in the next week or two, we start seeing some signings. There is room in the squad, and we can the more we can add quality to the group, the more that we can add competition for places, the better it makes everyone. And so, we're looking forward to adding, some new players and some key positions as we move forward here.
All right. Well, on that note, Cam, I really enjoy the interview. I enjoy, the last couple of years working with you. You handled the adversity of this year unbelievably. I think it was really impressive from afar to watch. For our fans out there, I also enjoy seeing your 3 daughters, Sophie, Ella, and Maeve, at the games all the time, which is great. So they are very, very adorable. So very lucky to have you, Cam. Yeah, very lucky to have you. All right, we're wrapping it up. Thank you, Cam. Next up is going to be Fernando Arce from Club Necaxa. Thanks so much, and chat to you soon, Cam.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
Just because the Loons are away doesn't mean you have to watch the match from home. With Loons Watch Spots presented by Coors Light, you can find a piece of that Allianz Field atmosphere at some of your favorite Twin Cities locations. Check out the full list of locations and upcoming watch parties at MNUFC.com/Loons Watch Spots.
Welcome back to our episode. We just got off with Cameron Knowles, which was a great interview. And now I have the pleasure of having a player from Necaxa, Fernando Arce, who actually was on Puebla last year. So he's coming to Minnesota for 2 times in 2 years, which we're excited to have him. And he has graciously decided to join our show. He speaks obviously Spanish, but English as well. And part of why I'm introducing him, he speaks English, is because you actually were born in California, correct?
Yeah, I was born in Chula Vista, California. With my parents are Mexican, so I speak both languages. I speak better Spanish, but yeah, I'm trying to speak English as well.
Nice. How are things in Necaxa? How is the season going? And where are you guys in the season in general?
we had at mid table. We had a very strong beginning of the season because we played against Tigres Monterrey, that they are one of the best teams in the league. So we have two lost against the Monterrey teams, and we won here at home against Puebla 4-1, and then we fly to León and we take 1-1. So we were playing really strong. We're playing good football or soccer, and yeah, we have a great season beginning, and yeah, we are looking forward to go play at the Leagues Cup and do a good job.
Yeah, Fernando, it's for me, having grown up and been in soccer my whole life, both coaching and playing. This is only the second year of this tournament, but it's really exciting because you have that Mexican American side to you as well, where the sport is growing so fast in the U.S. and it always has the base of just passion and love in Mexico. And to have this tournament where you take the best clubs in Mexico and the best club in the U.S., I just think creates so much excitement. And certainly, in all honesty, it's probably a little advantage to sometimes the MLS teams because the tournament's in the US, but there's such integration. And if I'm being honest, Mexican soccer has been around a lot longer and much more successful. So for me, there's a little bit of pride that the MLS teams now can really compete in these tournaments. And I just also love and respect the passion and love that Mexicans have for soccer, which is unique because you're a Mexican American. I know you've had 6 appearances for the US U20 national team, and you are now 27 years old, and you're just in the thick of your pro career. How is it going? Are you excited about the new club from Puebla last year to this club? How did that happen? Did they buy you? Did you transfer? Where were you in your contract when that shift happened?
No. At the 2020, I was with Xolos Tijuana, and Necaxa buy me. So I played here for
That's right.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years, and then I went on loan to Juarez, near El Paso, Texas.
Yep.
I did a really good 2 seasons. I scored 5 or 4 goals, being as a pivot, and then I went on loan to Puebla. That's where I went to the Leagues Cup with Puebla, and we play against Minnesota and then Chicago. We didn't perform pretty well the first tournament of the Leagues Cup, but and then we tied 1-1 against Chicago, and then we win in penalties. So yeah, we have great players, we have great soccer or football, and we're playing really well. And then from Puebla, I mean I just Necaxa is owner of myself, and they want me back. We did really good. We did it into the playoffs, and we performed really good, really well. And yeah, it's a nice opportunity this year to be with Necaxa and to perform really well in this year in Leagues Cup.
Yeah, I remember. Obviously, we had a really good game. I mean, we scored some early goals. I think and just it was probably one of our better games. And then I remember you guys the Chicago game. I thought you guys played really well. It was a really good game, and it really, like I said, it was a good group because Chicago came and actually surprised us when we thought we were going to get the win, and we gave up 2 late goals. So we're really excited to host you on Tuesday. You talked a little bit about your journey, and you're with the Rayos now, which means nickname for Lightning. Do you think there's a fan base in Minnesota? Do you think there'll be some Necaxa fans showing up for this one?
Hopefully we have someone cheering up us. It's have some fans in the stands. I think we will have some people with our shared Necaxa, cheering us, and hopefully, yeah. I think we have something or someone over there who's cheering up Necaxa, or near Minnesota whose favorite team is Necaxa, because Necaxa is a really interesting team, because in the 90s it was like a huge team. They won lots of leagues and cups, and yeah. So it's an important team in Mexico. So hopefully we have someone over there cheering us up.
Yeah, no, I was just playing back in those days. I remember how good they were and dominant. It was a really, really good team. You guys have
It was
such a
good.
passionate fan base as well. Just a little bit about you then, like just kind of give the fans here your role, like what position you play. You know, obviously you're a two-way midfielder. Talk about how you see the game, how you see like where you play within. Well, you don't have to give us too much about where you play within Necaxa, but just in general, a little bit more about you as a player.
Yeah, I'm a center mid player. I like to have the ball on my feet, always possession, have possession, and I can play box to box too. I have played there. In Juarez, I played box to box, and I scored a few goals, 4 goals in one season. So it was a good for a pivot. So yeah, I'm currently having a different role here in the Necaxa team because I'm having like a more like a stopper right there, just having the ball, helping the defensive team back there to have the zero in our goal. So yeah, and helping the offensive players to create, to manage the ball, to have some possession too. And yeah, I'm a strong player, who like to tackle, to who likes a lot of good possession of the ball. And yeah, just I can play as a 8, as a 6, as a box to box. So yeah, I have a few positions.
Yeah, no, I hear in your voice, you know, you're 27 now. You're full on professional in terms of your experience. You've spent time at Tijuana, Dorados, Necaxa, and Juarez, and Puebla. So you have that nice array of just learning and growing into a player. And I think 27 is a great age to really understand where your body and your mind and all that stuff needs to be. You also come from a family background. Your dad, right, had 47 appearances with the Mexican national team, correct?
Correct. Yeah, my dad, he was a huge deal in Mexico. Really great player. Yeah, he did a lot of good performances in national team. He participated in the qualifying for the World Cup in South Africa and then Brazil. And yeah, he was a leader. He was a really good player, and now he's back home helping me, uh, helping, giving advices of what to do better, or what to train more, or like all the background of the game. He's always helping me, and yeah, I just taking his advices, really good.
Yeah, no, amazing. Again, I've got the gray hair to know how good he was and get to see him play. So that's awesome lineage for you. And your dad must be really proud that you've, you know, played professional soccer and doing so well.
Yeah.
Fernando, a little bit about Minnesotans. So you got to experience Minnesota for the first time. I will tell you, it's probably easier for you from your climate to come here in the summertime. If you came here in the winter, it gets very cold. We have a lot of players of that, but we have a sense of pride of all of our seasons. Talk to me about your experience here in Minnesota last year, and then specifically Allianz Field. And just to give you a little background, it's another one of our prides. You know, we as an ownership group raised hundreds of millions of dollars to privately fund that entire stadium. So tell me a little bit about your experience last year in Minnesota and at Allianz Field as well.
Yeah, the stadium is beautiful. It's a great field, great grass, and great everything. The installations of the team also, they're really good. Really nice gym, really nice fields, and really nice weather as well. And as a baseball fan, I went to Twins Stadium
Nice.
and to cheer up. I bought my Correa's shirt too, or
Yes.
jersey from the Twins, and yeah, it's a great city. We went to the mall too, like a
Yep.
big one. I don't know what's the name
Mall of
of the
America.
mall, but
Mall of America. Right. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very
that
big
one.
mall.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great atmosphere in the stadium. They have really good fans, and yeah, we are looking forward to go again and compete.
Yeah, we're looking to host you, like I said, and that goes to the games. Like it'll be Minnesota's second game. It'll be your guys' first game in the group stages. The other team is Seattle. Have you had a chance to look at both teams or look at the group? Do you have any thoughts on Seattle and Minnesota? Obviously, you just had your league game, so I'm sure your brain it's not you had too much time to focus. But now, like us, you take this big break in league. Any thoughts on Seattle specifically?
Yeah, Seattle, it's a great team. They have good forwards. Obviously, the turf it's something because it's
Sure.
different. Here we have Tijuana, but we played just one game in a year, so we haven't played like too much in the turf, you know. So it's gonna be interesting. We need to play smart because of the field, because I think it's different to play in a turf and than a grass. So we have to be smart in that, and yeah, uh I see all the MLS games. I try to watch and study how they play or what's the best player on each team. So yeah, I mean, Seattle, they have really interesting players. It's gonna be a tough one as well as Minnesota, and yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting, interesting group.
No, I agree, and I forget. You guys don't play on turf that often, or we have about 6 or 7 teams in our league on turf, so you're playing more games on turf. And Seattle
Yeah.
really uses that to their advantage. They're very good on turf. We've really struggled there as a club as well. So we're looking forward to hopefully changing that on Friday night. Um, I have an interesting one for you. Just in terms of your ownership group, it's got to be really exciting times right now. You have these new celebrities that are part of the owners of your group. You've got Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, Eva Longoria, Justin Verlander, Kate Upton, to name a few. Has that impacted, or have you met them? Have you got to experience time with them at all, or is this something so new?
I just met Eva Longoria last month, and yeah, she came to meet us, to get to know the team, the club, the city, and we just, or they just have begun to roll a new series
Yes.
here about the team. So they are here with all the cameras and microphones, and we have like 5 cameras here in the club. So yeah, just it's a new thing. It's interesting because we are not like uh convinced at all. It's a new thing for us, and it's a hard thing to manage. But yeah, it's something new. And yeah, it's a good thing to have these guys on our team because I think the world will know about us, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously intrigued. Obviously, if you've seen the Wrexham show or Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney,
Yeah.
and just the explosion of global kind of relevancy, it's been pretty amazing. So it should be an exciting journey for Necaxa. Although you guys have such a passionate fan base, and I do love your nickname, Los Rayos. That's a really cool,
Rayos.
great nickname.
Thunder.
So
The
yeah,
Thunders.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Any other things to tell our Minnesota fans in general, just as we close up here? You guys now obviously said you travel Saturday morning, you arrive Saturday afternoon. That means you'll train Sunday, Monday, and ready for Tuesday, 8 o'clock at Allianz Field, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We're looking forward to Tuesday night, and nothing, just to the fans to go to the stadium, just to have a great atmosphere as always. And yeah, I'm happy to be in Minnesota again.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you, Renat, I cannot thank you enough for your time. I really appreciate it. Post training for you today. And all the best. somewhat all the best, especially against Seattle, all the best. But again, I really am looking forward to it. Like I said, the pause of playing our league games and then having an international competition against high-level competition, I can't think of any better for Minnesota fans to experience in Allianz Field. So thank you again. And with that, this has been another edition of the Loons Matchday Preview. We'll be back next week with Jonathan Harrison. So thanks again, Fernando. Cheers.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.